Hey everyone, it is Brendan, your game master, your lore... I'm not the lore keeper, your lore buddy, your ace in the hole, your friend on the inside. This is nothing. Thank you so much for listening to OATHSWORN. I'm recording this very short message from me to you, from everyone here at the podcast, to you to say thank you. We appreciate you so much. It is frankly ridiculous to think that we are here at the end. There's a lot of feelings caught up in that. Really interesting, really exciting. It just started thunderstorming outside, which is kind of a perfect kind of tone piece for what's going on here. I wanted to bring up a couple of things. One is the final battle has just ended, but the show is not quite over. We're going to debut our last set of episodes starting next week. So according to the regular schedule, as if this episode hadn't come out in the middle of the bi-weekly releases, which will provide sort of an epilogue. We're playing a different game. Some of you may have guessed what it is already, but if you don't know, then look forward to that reveal. It's a lot of fun. We have a ton of fun playing it. And that'll be another multi-episode release where, because we try to keep our episodes to about an hour or so, you can expect probably another 3 episodes out of that game. Don't hold me to that. I'm looking at the file size now, and I think it's probably about a 3-parter. Lots of cool twists and turns in that one. Lots of fun little tributes and quirks and developments along the way as we deal with what comes next for the Legion and the world of Zal-Sha'el. And then we're going to do a postmortem where we're not playing the game anymore. We'll be doing that as players rather than as characters. And we would love, if you've been listening along, and if you have questions for us, send in your questions to oathswornpodcast@gmail.com. All one word, oathswornpodcast@gmail.com. We'd be happy to answer whatever we can, whether about the world or the experience of making a podcast, or about Band of Blades, or about any of the other games that we played. Obviously, lots of people have reached out over the past couple of years, and we really appreciate all the great messages that we've gotten from people from all walks of life. We really appreciate it. And that will come out after the Epilogue game that I was talking about before. So you'll have a pretty good window of opportunity to send in questions, but I figured I would get the call out now. In the meanwhile, if you enjoy the show, and if you're listening to this episode, I certainly hope that you do, consider sharing with a friend and or leaving a 5-star review wherever you can. I think you can leave 5 stars on Spotify if you're listening on Spotify. If you're listening anywhere else, there's a good chance it's pulling it from Apple Podcasts, formerly known as iTunes. Remember iTunes? Remember Real Player? Remember MP2 files? Kids these days don't know about MP2. Anyway, if you go to Apple Podcasts, you can not only leave 5 stars, but you can leave a written review, which, believe it or not, does help out. And we do still care about, even though we're coming up here to the end, because it is always nice to have people listen to the thing that you made. Really appreciate it. Do I have anything else? I don't know. Do you have anything else? Do you have anything you want to tell me? I mean, I guess I've just given you an email address that you could use to tell me stuff if you really do have something you need to reach out about. Here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a couple of plugs here at the end. One is that Matthew and I are wrapping up another podcast that we started end of last year that is wrapping up now, called The Prisoner's Dilemma, which is a watch-along podcast for the 1960s spy show The Prisoner, which is about spies, but it's also about surreal threats to individuality and strange floating white orbs and all sorts of stuff. It's a fun listen. And if you like weird media objects, I feel like we do a good job of addressing what makes the thing compelling in such a weird way. I've also got another new podcast out called Paper Labyrinths that I do with Nick Drangiali, and that is a design conversation podcast where once a month we talk to someone else in the field of games, not merely tabletop games and video games, but also immersive games and ARGs and theater and all sorts of stuff, where it's not quite so much an interview as it is just sort of an opportunity for three people who work in crisscrossing crafts to talk about what they're interested in, what they've been working on, and what lessons they've learned along the way. It's a lot of fun. CalsCon is also still going. CalsCon is a Beam Saber mega game that most of us, Devin, Matthew, Gavin, and I are all in. We're each in it in different forms. It's also up for a couple of crit awards. So if you're listening along for that, please remember to vote. And Chris and I were guests on a short-run actual play called The Invisible Labyrinth, where we play a game of the same name, The Invisible Labyrinth, with the game's creator, Morgan Jackson, which is available now. Both episodes and the game are out right now. Had a ton of fun. A couple of my favorite people to tell stories with. Really, really enjoyed that. Please give it a listen. It is some absurd people stuck on an island with each other in the worst way kind of drama. Devin's band has got a brand new album out. You can find some fantastic alternative indie pop rock from Gloomy June at gloomyjune.bandcamp.com. Fantastic album. Please give it a listen. You can also listen to any of the music Devin has made for our show and more at devindecibel.bandcamp.com. But you can do that already. And one of Devin's role-playing games that they have written, Pale Dot, a collaborative storytelling game of cosmonauts exploring their solar system, finding strange wonders, and surviving perilous hazards, is about to be available for physical copies. It was up for Kickstarter, and you could get a book that way. If you missed the Kickstarter, this is a good way to get a copy of the book. You can get those either now or soon using the link ttrpg.link/paledot. And I'll have links. I'll have that link and links to everything else in the description for this episode. And while I'm at it, friend of the show, Bird, has just launched the Story Players podcast, where their very first season, Glorandrina Station, a political sci-fi horror actual play about home and belonging, has taken off. They play Microscope to set up the world, and then they're playing Kingdom, which you know I'm a big fan of. # Summer of Kingdom. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and I would love it if you enjoy Oathsworn to give it a look. Look up the Story Players podcast wherever you can listen to pods. And I think that's it. New episodes out next week. New game. Same old problems for everyone that's still alive. And maybe a few who aren't. Brendan, what does that mean? Do ghosts have problems? To which I say, if Oathsworn stands for nothing else, it definitely stands for the idea that ghosts can have problems. Just look at me. I've been dead the whole time. Okay, bye.